Hi, Patrick here. Have Cheetah Will View. So, wow, we haven't done one of these in a minute. This is a tag video. Uh, yeah, been a long time since we've done one of these. But I guess it's like everything else. It comes and goes in a cycle. So, the topic today that we were asked to tag, or we were tagged by, is to name 10 characters in our fanboyhood, science fiction, horror, whatnot. 10 characters that you actually cared for, that really, you had emotional attachment to. 10 characters that you had an emotional attachment to in the film. Initially, I thought, wow, that's going to be really hard, because, there's so many movies, there's so many characters, there's so many, it's like, holy cow, who do you leave off? Can you even get to 10? I mean, quite honestly, I know a lot of people out there, and you know who you are. I think they actually would have a hard time getting to 10. I don't know how many horror fans actually emotionally connect with the people they see on screen. Sometimes I think that they're so desensitized that all they look for is just the flashy kill. But that's some do, some don't. I don't know. I don't. I like the characters that I watch it on screen to mean something to me. To move me to emotions and whatnot. So I came up with 10, and you know what? It was actually quite easy. Quite easy. So what I'll do is I'll name the film. I'll name the character in the film, and I'll give it a little bit of reason why, and then I'll tell you who the actor who played it. So number 10 probably won't be a surprise for a lot of people. I actually picked Cujo, the Saint Bernard from the movie Cujo. I did a review. I did a review of that for my 500th review on my blog. I've talked about it before on different streams or whatnot, but Cujo is, it's a terrifying movie, but not for the people in it. Yeah, I know the mom and the kid in the car and everything else, but it's the dog. The dog's the victim here, and you can't help but feel for him. What a horrific, horrific fate that he has, dying in such agony. Rabies is horrible, absolutely horrible, and to portray that on screen. There's another movie that was really well known for that too, and that was Old Yeller. When Old Yeller got bit, and defending his family, and he had rabies. What makes Old Yeller and Cujo, what makes Cujo more sad is that whereas Old Yeller had no recourse, they didn't know anything about rabies vaccines back then, and certainly not enough to, certainly not enough to, if they did, I don't think anybody would actually vaccinate their dog. But what made Cujo more effective was the fact that he got bit and then he was ignored. No one paid any attention to him. No one gave him a vaccination shot beforehand. He never got a rabies shot. He was totally open to what happened to him. So totally heartbreaking. And Cujo will be my 10th character of films that I had an emotional attachment to. Number 9 would be Molly. Molly. And she was played by Juliet Batalon. That was my second favorite film that I reviewed on my blog. I absolutely love Molly. I love the character. I really rooted for her. Um, uh, she was just alone. She's created in a lab. She's out alone in a dystopian world. Um, Everybody wants a piece of her. Everybody's chasing her. She's just trying to survive the best way she knows how. You really like the character. She's really endearing and really charming. And yeah, I really liked that. I really liked her quite a bit. I really liked the character. Um, I hoped somewhere down the line, I'm not sure if it'll happen or not. I know that this is supposed to be a planned trilogy by Thieves Muse and maybe Kalinga Bongers. I know that they did two movies. They did Molly and they did Kill Mode, which only featured Molly a little bit. But I hope that somewhere down the line there's a end of the trilogy. I'd like to see how Molly's story ends. Number eight is a duel. I picked two characters that were in the same movie because I thought their fates were tied together, and that would be Finnick and Johanna from catching the Hunger Games, Catching Fire, played by Sam Claflin and Jenna Malone. It's funny as I was just talking about the character Johanna online, and I really love both their characters. I thought they were both, it was just tragic all the way around. They both had won their version of the Hunger Games. Basically the last man standing, and what a horrific thing to go through, only to get called back again to try to do it all over again and live and survive. And I just couldn't imagine how that just. Of course, they were just completely just shocked and bitter and angry, and who wouldn't be, right? I mean, here you go, you survived, so now you get to rest on your laurels and your nightmares, because we see, hey, Mitch, you see what happened to him. He was obliterated. That's why he became an alcoholic. Jenna and Finnick, they were good people. They managed to retain their goodness as best she could. I mean, they gave up their lives to help Jennifer Lawrence's character. Oh, I got a brain fart here. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Oh, the Cheetahs wants to know if I forgot the character's name, and I did. Katniss Everdeen. He says, "How do I forget a girl's name with the word cat in it?" He's right. Thanks, Cheetah. So they give their lives to help Katniss. So I like those two characters. I like the two actors. So Finnick and Johanna from Catching Fire, the Hunger Games Catching Fire, would be my 8th pick. Number seven. Another movie that I actually am so happy to see people are talking about now. I see it more and more every year. And I think part of that has to do with the fact that Dollar Tree put out a lot of these movies. They got a ton of copies for $1, and a lot of people discover the movie this way. I discovered it through my video store, and I'm glad I did, because it's one of my favorite movies. And number 7 would be Nancy from The Final Girls, played by Malin Ackerman, who you may remember from Watchmen. Nancy is basically she's a wonderful character. She plays an actress who she gets killed. She has to leave. She gets in a movie. Her character gets killed. She gets killed. But she loves her daughter. And her daughter finally they reconnect when the daughter gets transported into the movie where her mom dies. So they're in this movie, and she never got to say goodbye to her mom properly. And so next she gets transferred into this movie, and she's going to try to save her mom, and lo and behold, her mom she decides to sacrifice herself to save her daughter. It's a really moving moment in a horror movie. It's something you don't see nearly enough. It really has. It's really emotional, and I'm not afraid to say that I cut a few onions during those scenes. It's a great movie, tremendous movie, and Malin Ackerman really, and Tessa Familia too. Familia, I can't pronounce her last name. You know who I'm talking about. They had a really good connection on screen, which really helped the characters, and you really did care for them quite a bit. And you could feel you could feel both the pride and the loss, in the daughter's eyes when she knows that her mom's gonna have to die again. But at least she got to say goodbye to her properly. Okay. Number 6 is from one of my favorite movies, Juliet, as portrayed by Brittany Ashworth in the movie Hostel. Really, really like this movie a lot. Brittany Ashworth is a rising star, and she really sparkles in this movie. She owns the movie, basically. And she plays a woman who's trapped in the outlands, and as she's waiting for help. If she's going to get help, she's trapped in her car. She's surrounded by all these mutants, and as she has flashbacks of how the world ended. Basically, she had met this guy, and they had fallen in love together, and they were having a future together, and then this disease came, and then pretty much wiped out the world in record time, and she's trapped in a car, and it doesn't look good. It doesn't look like anybody's going to come get her. But there's this one creature that is defending her over and over again. And she finally realizes who this creature really is. And the movie ends as it should. I'll say it like that. It ends as it should. Okay, number 5. Roger from the movie Decoys. All right, so this is the first horror movie I ever watched that I really was emotionally invested in it. I was so amazed by this. Roger was played by Elias Toufis. I can't pronounce your name. Sorry, Elias. This is the first movie that, like I said, I had an emotional investment to. He plays a buddy. He has a buddy named Luke, who's played by Corey Severe, and they're facing off all these alien Bettys. They're trying to trap these guys, to trap them and feed off them and whatnot. And of course, it's a goofy creature feature. But at the end of the movie, Roger gets critically wounded, and he's basically dying. And they load him up in the ambulance, and they're racing to the ambulance, and they don't cut away from that. They don't make comments or anything like that. They actually have a really emotional moment. It's really emotional. His friend's crying. He's dying. He's talking to his friend. It is really shockingly, like, I couldn't believe when I was watching this and going like, wow, this is really good. This is damn good. I'd never seen that before in a horror movie, because most of the horror movies, the victims are always disposable. They don't ever really get backstories, or we don't ever really get told, anything about them enough to know that they're characters, where they're from, how they got where they got, or anything. All they are is they're just targets. We have no emotional attachment to them. Like if we thought about characters in real life, like a camp counselor at Camp Crystal Lake. He's only 21, or he's only 21. Maybe he was a good student. Maybe he was an honor student. Maybe he was a member in his church. Maybe he saved somebody's life. We don't ever get full backgrounds because it's a movie. I get that, but still, you still just watch a character just get killed. You got to have feelings for it, because put yourself in that situation. Wouldn't that hurt? Wouldn't your family be devastated? I think it helps us keep our humanity when we watch these films. I think it's important that we keep our humanity. I don't think it's just a fantasy. It's just a movie. Then if it's just a movie, then why do you love it so much? Why are the kills so interesting? Why are the kills driven? Why do we root for the bad guy? If it's just a movie, if we have no emotional investment into it, that's the thing. It isn't. We do. Like all summer, all I've heard is just, Michael Myers, killing people on Halloween and how they got killed and everything else and how cool it was, or Scream, like how are they going to kill these characters and who's going to be the killer? It's like, how about who's going to be the victim? Who's going to be the victim? Who's going to suffer? Whose family is going to be upset? I mean, if you have enough empathy, I don't even call it maybe anti-empathy. If you can sit there and wonder who the killer is going to kill next, or how they got to be a killer, then you got to be able to feel the same way for the victims, I think. Number 4, Michael from the Dawn of the Dead remake, played by Jake Weber. Uh, yeah, one of my absolute favorites. He is the sole reason why this movie is not only far superior to the original one, but it is one of the best performances in a horror film ever, ever. You go back and watch his character. He is such a that was a really, I mean, I have to give my hats off to James Gunn. He wrote an excellent script. Had plenty of action, plenty of the things what we expect in a Dawn of the Dead film and everything else. But he wrote some deep shit when he wrote about Michael. He gave that man a heart and a soul. You really cared for him. And when you see him there standing on the dockway and he says, help them. And then he turns around and he goes, I just think I'm just going to watch the sun come up for a little bit. I mean, how does that not break your heart? How could you just watch that scene and just not have any emotion for it? I can't. He's one of my very favorite characters in any movie. His performance is really haunting. He's lost his family. He lost everything. He used to be somebody, and he had a family and he maybe he wasn't the best dad or the best husband. He had regrets. He was human, and you didn't want to see him die. And unfortunately, that's what happened. Whoops, spoiler alert. But Jake Weber just put a lot of effort and a lot of soul into the performance. All right. Number three. Father Karras from The Exorcist. Yeah. Father Karras, I mean, put into an impossible situation. A situation he's not nearly ready for at all. Battling a possessed child. He is not ready for this. His faith has already been shaken by the death of his mother. He is in way over his head. And then when Max van Siedel's father passes away, and he's left against Zazu. But and then he makes the ultimate sacrifice too. He tells the demon to come into him. Now, biblically speaking, I don't think that would happen that way. I don't believe that's not how it would work. I do believe that the spirit might be driven out, but he would not be able to find Father Karras as a vessel, because the Bible states that there's nothing greater than a man when he lays down his life for another. So I don't think God would actually allow that possession. So, but the fact that for the movie they let it happen, for the movie purposes, it shows how he really did love. He loved that child, even though it wasn't his, but he was willing to give his life to save her. And he wanted that. He just had enough. He was tired. He was his faith was shaken, but then it was resolved. He got strengthened, and he went nose to nose, and made the ultimate sacrifice, and it was very, very moving and very very emotional, and you had to admire the man's bravery, against overwhelming odds. Number two, Dizzy Flores from Starship Troopers, played by the lovely Dina Meyer. All right, so this is a little bit fun. I mean, all right, yeah, okay, but I love Dina. I love Dizzy. Dizzy was the shit. I mean, okay, Starship Troopers was a lot of fun, and a lot of the characters about the farm and everything else, but I love Dizzy. I love the character. She was such a, she was fighting the war for the wrong reasons, just like Rico was. They were both following, Rico's following Carmen, and Dizzy was following Rico, and they were all in love or thought they were in love, and so Dizzy gets out there and she joins the mobile infantry and she fights and she gets killed at the end, and she tells Rico, at least we had each other, at least we had had our moment, and yeah, it was sad. It was sad because you're hoping that Dizzy would make it, but it was like no. I don't know if it was as emotionally deep as the rest of the films here I'm talking about, but yeah, I still like it. It's still it's like no, don't let her die. My number one character. I know. I can already hear you guys already going, yeah, I'm not surprised at that. Of course, you're not surprised by that because this is a character I can relate to very much. And that would be Sophia from A Dark Song. Wow. So, what can I say? I mean, I haven't already said. I mean, I see so much of myself in Sophia. I see so much of myself. Um, um, yeah, yeah, it's a hard one to talk about, really. To watch your loved one get taken away and not be able to do anything about it, and be angry all the time and want revenge, and yeah, I'm not the best person. Um, I know I have trouble with forgiveness, like she did in the movie. I mean, that's what she was so bitter and angry, and I got that. I mean, you could feel it on the screen. Um, and then she learned then she learned in order to survive, she's going to have to learn forgiveness. And that's what she asked for. She asked to learn the power of forgiveness to help basically save her sanity and her life and her soul. I thought Catherine Walker did an excellent job as Sophia, and I get her anger. I always do. It's probably why I love this film so much. But I also get her redemption too. I get that. Something to strive for. Um, so, like to this week, I have to forgive people. I have to forgive people. I have to not hold things in. I have to sit there and let it go. So, even today, got to learn those lessons. Sometimes a character in a movie or book can do that. They can help you. They can help you cross that hurdle. So, A Dark Song is always my light. That's what can I say. All right. Well, I think I've talked like forever in a day. So this is going to take forever today to load. That's my 10 people I picked for emotionally attached. Go ahead and hit the sub button. Let us know what you think. Drop your list and drop a comment down. Tell me what you think of my list. And tell me if there's any movies on here that I missed, or you think were that emotional, or the ones, like I said, the ones you love. As far as tag video goes, I'm tagging anybody who's a horror fan. This is up to you. You could do this. Not gonna preach or push on it. All right, that's it. Thanks so much, and we will talk at you soon. Peace.